Hello all, welcome to this session. In this session, I am going to answer one of the Selenium interview questions. That is, what is the difference between Selenium IDE, Selenium RC, and Selenium WebDriver? Let me answer. First of all, Selenium IDE, Selenium RC, and Selenium WebDriver are the different components of Selenium. Selenium is not a single tool. Rather, it is a set of different tools or components. Okay. Here, Selenium IDE is one tool or component. Selenium RC is another tool or component. Selenium WebDriver is another tool or component. Okay. So what is the difference between these three components of Selenium that I'm going to cover in this session? So to understand the difference well, I'll go here and write down. Here, I'll write down Selenium IDE, one of the component of Selenium. And in between, I'll write down Selenium RC, another component or tool of Selenium. And finally, Selenium WebDriver, another component or tool of Selenium. Okay, Selenium is a set of tools or components known as Selenium IDE, RC, WebDriver. Okay, so let me mention the differences between each and every component here. That's the reason I'm drawing these lines and all. So coming to the Selenium IDE, it supports record and playback. Okay, so it supports what? Supports record and playback. What do I mean? It means you can automate the tests as simple as recording a video and playing the video back. Okay, let's say you went to a friend's party and you have you picked your mobile phone and you turned on the camera and went into the video mode and start recording the moments in that particular birthday party or whatever the function. Okay, and after the party is done, when your friends gather again, you played the videos. As simple as recording and playing the video, you can record and play back the tests. Okay, using Selenium IDE, that is possible. This thing is not there in Selenium RC. Okay, doesn't support record and playback. Record and playback support is only in this component of Selenium, that is Selenium IDE. Here also doesn't support. Also, I'll just doesn't support record and playback. Okay, I'll show you how Selenium IDE supports record and playback now. I'll open one browser, any browser you can open. In this browser, you just search for Selenium IDE or go to the official website of Selenium. That is also fine. If you want to go to the official website of Selenium, just type selenium.dev and here you will see Selenium IDE. Read more. You will be taken to this page where you see Chrome download. Since my browser is Chrome, I'll click on the Chrome download. This is the process of installing it. So click on Add to Chrome and select Add extension. In Chrome browser, the Selenium IDE component or tool will be installed now in a while. Okay, so done. Click on this manage extensions and click on pin. Done. You can see the Selenium IDE here. Now just restart the browser once. After installation of any Chrome extension, right? Better to restart the browser. Okay. Now go to one application. Let's say tutorialsninja.com/demo application. Copy this URL and click on the Selenium IDE option. And you see Selenium IDE tool got launched. Okay. You see, simple. It's very simple, right? It got launched very easily. Now here, I'll write create a new project. I'll just name the project as a demo project. Click on OK. And after that, here there is a recording option. Click on the recording option. And here it's asking for the URL. I just now copied this URL of the application, right? I'm pasting that here. And simply say start recording. You see, the recording started. I'm going to maximize whatever the actions I'm going to do on this application are getting recorded by Selenium IDE. You can see on the bottom, some notification is coming by Selenium IDE saying that some recording is going on. Okay, whatever the activities you are performing here are getting recorded. The way you are recording a video, you're recording the test here. So my activities here, whatever the manual activities I'm performing on this application are getting, recorded. If I click on this, the click will be recorded. If I type some text, the text will be recorded. Typing text will be recorded. If I click on this button, search button, that click will be recorded. Here, if I verify, that click got recorded. Right click, Selenium IDE, verify whether it is present on the page or not. Verify present, okay? That activity is also recorded, okay? Now go to Selenium IDE. All the steps got recorded here. Stop the recording. When you stop the recording, it will ask for the test name. Search for a valid product is the test. Okay, test. Say okay. Now we have successfully automated one test. You see how simple it is to automate the test in Selenium IDE because of it, because it supports record and playback. And here are the steps which got recorded when whatever the activities I performed on that particular application, right? That activities got recorded here. It has opened this application. This is the actual application followed by the extension, you can say. And after that, it has maximized the browser window. Then it has clicked inside the search box field. It has typed the text HP into the search box field using the type command. I didn't write any of these things. They are all automatically they came. Then, this thing is not required actually. I can delete it if I want, delete. Even this one is not required. I just want to verify whether that particular product got displayed in such, this much steps are, Now, what is the playback then? Recording is done. Now, how to run the test? Here, simply select the test and just click on run current test. That's it. You see, it's automated already. You see, I'm not doing anything. Selenium IDE is performing the test, okay? Maybe some problem there is, that's okay. So it got failed somehow, but maybe I deleted some steps and all, right? Maybe it got affected there. That's okay. Okay, so this how, but I don't want to go deep into this solving the issue and all, but I just wanted to show how Selenium IDE works. That's it. Okay, fine. This is a record and playback tool, guys. Okay, supports record and playback, but Selenium RC doesn't support. Selenium WebDriver doesn't support. That means record and playback feature is not there in RC and WebDriver. Okay. Next one, codeless automation. Did I write any code while automating? Sorry, while automating the Selenium IDE thing, did I write any code? I didn't write any code, right? It's a codeless. It's a codeless automation tool. Codeless automation tool. Okay. I don't have to write any code in Selenium IDE. Okay. I simply need to record the activities on the application and play it back. That's it. I don't have to write any code, programming code or something. I don't have to write. What about this one, Selenium RC? I have to write the code here. Okay. We have to write the code in any supported programming language. Okay. What about this one? Same thing. Here also, in any supported programming language, we have to write the code. Okay. Done. Okay. But Selenium IDE is a codeless automation tool. What next? We have no need to start any server. I'll tell you what is the reason here. Okay. So Selenium RC, in order to run the automation scripts in Selenium RC, we have to start a server. We have to start a server. Okay. There will be some server that we have to start from command line and all. But here, no need to start any server. No need to. Just now I showed you, right, how to record. Did I start any server? No, right? No need to start any server. Okay. But here, we have to start the server. What about this one? No need to start a server. Here also no need. Only Selenium RC requires you to start a server to run. No need to start any server. Done. What else then? So coming to this Selenium RC, this one got deprecated. No one is using this Selenium RC nowadays. Okay. No one is using Selenium RC. It already got deprecated long back. Okay. Deprecated. Not deprecated. It's there. Still people are using this Selenium IDE, whereas Selenium RC is deprecated. It's not deprecated. Still people are using Selenium WebDriver. Deprecated. Deprecated. Done. Next. Only supports Chrome and Firefox browser. Okay. So here I have installed Selenium IDE in Chrome browser as an extension, right? Similarly in Firefox browser also you can do that. You can confirm here when you go to Selenium IDE and under Selenium IDE you have read mode. And when you go there, you see it supports Chrome and Firefox. Okay. Supports what? Which browsers? Supported by Selenium IDE is supported by supports Chrome and Firefox. What about the Selenium RC? It supports all popular browsers. Okay. Supports all popular browsers in the market like Chrome, Firefox, and all those stuff. Okay. Chrome, Firefox, IE, and all the Safari and all those stuff. But it's deprecated, so we don't have to talk much. What about this one? It also supports all popular. It's limited. You see, Selenium IDE is limited to only Chrome and Firefox. You cannot run Selenium IDE scripts on Edge browser and all the stuff. But whereas Selenium WebDriver, you can run in all the popular browsers in the market like Chrome, Firefox, IE, Edge, Safari, etc., etc. Okay, supports all popular browsers in the market. Is another difference. Then what next? Non-technical users can also use this tool for automating the test. Okay, since it is supports record and playback, it's a codeless automation tool, right? Even non-technical people can use it, right? Non-technical users can use it. can use it without any programming knowledge. These people can use it. Okay. Whereas this one needs technical knowledge like programming knowledge. Okay. What about this one? Here also it needs technical knowledge like programming knowledge. Fine. Next. Then how to install this Selenium IDE as a browser extension. In Chrome and Firefox, we have this browser extension. As a browser extension, we have to install it. What about this one? It comes as a library. It's not a browser extension. In Eclipse IDE, we have to create some Java project. Into that, we have to add some jar files of the Selenium RC and configure that. Here also, this is also a library. Okay, API library will be there. Okay, some API library. It's not a browser extension. Whereas Selenium IDE is an extension. Some UI kind of thing will come. Here, no UI will be there for Selenium RC doesn't have any UI. Selenium WebDriver doesn't have any UI. Okay, we call it as a tool, but it doesn't have any UI. Selenium IDE only has a UI. Whatever, when I clicked on this, right, we got some UI, right? Selenium IDE came as a UI here. You see, this is a UI of the Selenium IDE. This is a Selenium IDE as a UI. Okay, but Selenium RC and Selenium WebDriver are APIs. API library, you can say. Okay, API library. It has a lot of commands, classes, interfaces, such kind of thing. Okay, like Java, Selenium RC and Selenium WebDriver libraries, whereas Selenium IDE is a browser extension. That's another difference. Then maintenance is high in this case. Okay, maintenance is high. What do I mean by maintenance is high? So let's say here using Selenium IDE, you have recorded one automation test. Okay, and it's working fine. Tomorrow, the developers have changed some functionality on the application. Okay. Let's say in that search box field, right? Beside that search button was there, right? Let's say developers have moved that button from the left side, right side to the left side or some other place. And because of it, something got changed and your recorded test may not work. Again, you have to re-record the test from beginning to end. Okay. If some changes happen on the application, again, you have to delete the earlier recording and record it again. Okay. Something changes, again, you have to record from start. Okay. That means if there are hundreds of tests and every day something is changing in the application, means you have to keep on recording from scratch again. Okay, it's not just changing something, it's like complete test you have to re-record again. That's the problem. Okay, so maintenance is very high in this case of Selenium IDE, whereas Selenium RC less maintenance. Okay, whatever that got changed, only that part will update. Okay, less maintenance when compared to Selenium IDE, less maintenance. Here also less maintenance. If anything changes, right, you don't have to write the automation script from beginning. You can go into the code where you have written the automation code, and in that code, whatever the thing that got changed, that only part you have to update. Less maintenance here. But Selenium IDE, high maintenance because you have to record from the beginning. Okay, you have to cancel the previous recording and record from the beginning. But Selenium IDE is very easy. Okay, very simple and easy to use. Okay, very simple and easy to use. This is very easy and simple to use. Whereas this one, it needs programming language. So you should be good at programming. You should be a technical person, and it's not easy. And that means it's not easy. It's not easy and not simple to use. Okay. Whereas this one also similar to Selenium RC, Selenium WebDriver, Selenium RC, both are kind of same, almost same because they are library APIs. Okay. We have to use this API commands of this WebDriver or RC libraries. Okay. With Java programming or Python programming, like that, we have to write the code. That's why it's not easy and not easy as Selenium IDE and not simple as Selenium IDE. Okay, fine, good. Okay, then next, deprecated already. I told you, right? Selenium RC is already deprecated, but Selenium IDE and WebDriver are still there in the market. It's outdated already because Selenium WebDriver came into the market. There is no use of still using Selenium RC. Okay, and compared to this Selenium RC and Selenium WebDriver, both are API libraries, but this is easy and small API library. Okay, coming to Selenium RC, easy and small API library. What about this one? Complex and large kind of thing. Okay, complex and large API library. Large API library. This is not a library at all. Okay, it's not a library. It's a tool kind of thing. It's not a library at all. Whereas these are API libraries and this is not a library. Coming to this API library, it's easy and small API, kind of limited number of classes and all are there. But here, very complex and huge list of API calls, APIs and API libraries there, okay, containing a lot of interface classes, methods, and all those stuff. And it's a non-object oriented. Selenium RC is non-object oriented. I think let me expand this so that a lot of points, still more points are there. Let me expand this. So coming to this, it's non-object oriented, okay? If you see Java is an object-oriented program, like that, it is a non-object oriented API. It doesn't follow object-oriented things, okay? Whereas this one is object-oriented. It's object-oriented API, object-oriented API. Here, it's not an API at all, not an API at all, not an API. Whether it's not about object-oriented or oriented, it's not an API. There's no need to compare, not an API at all. Then doesn't support the implementation of WebDriver supports listeners implementation. Okay, there's some concept known as listeners in test engine. Listener support is there. Test engine listeners or some kind of listeners are there that the Selenium WebDriver will support. Okay, even Selenium WebDriver listeners are also there. Okay, WebDriver event listeners kind of thing are also there. Not only test engine. In Selenium itself, there are some listeners. These listeners are not there in. No listeners here. Doesn't support. Doesn't support any listeners. Doesn't support listeners. Simple implementation of listeners or listeners. Okay. So if you know if you have the knowledge of Selenium WebDriver, you know what exactly listeners are. There are two types of listeners, like test engine related listeners are the Selenium library related listeners are there. But Selenium RC doesn't have any support for listeners. It's not an API, so no concept of not an API or API at all. So there is no need to talk about any, listeners and all in this case of Selenium IDE. And then core engine is JavaScript based. In this here also Selenium IDE core engine is JavaScript based. JavaScript based engine. Why I'm talking about this JavaScript based engine is Selenium IDE. While running the automation scripts on any browser, it will trick the browser. Okay, it will try to trick the browser, and with the help of JavaScript, it will induce some instructions to the browser. This is what you have to do on the application kind of thing. But it's kind of not natural. Okay. Here also the same thing. RC is also going to trick the browser. Okay, inject some JavaScript code, and because external JavaScript code is not generally allowed by the browsers, but still Selenium IDE and Selenium RC, right? They have the JavaScript based engines, and because of which they are inducing some scripts into that. This will natively communicate with browsers. Okay, officially, it's going to communicate with the browsers. There is no need to trick in case of Selenium WebDriver. Okay. Natively interacts with the browser applications. Already done. These are the differences, guys. Okay, between IDE, RC, and WebDriver. Supports record and playback. Doesn't support. Codeless automation tool. You don't have to write any code in this case. RC, you have to write the code. WebDriver, you have to write the code in any supported programming language along with the libraries. No need to start any server. Here, we need to start a server. Here also, no need to start a server. IDE and WebDriver doesn't need to start any server. But RC earlier we used to use RC where we need to start a server. But now, whatever we have like IDE and WebDriver doesn't need to start any server. Not deprecated, but RC is deprecated. No one is using now. There is no need to learn about RC. Since the question is being asked in the interviews, you have to answer that. Not deprecated. It's still there, but only RC is deprecated. Supports only Chrome and Firefox, whereas supports all popular browsers in the market. Supports all popular browsers in the market. Non-technical users can use it. Here, technical skills like some programming language are required in these two cases. It's a browser extension, but it's a library API. Okay. Maintenance is high, low maintenance. Okay. Because we have to re-record the test if any changes happen to the already recorded test. Very simple and easy to use. You already know, right, how simple it is to use. It's not easy and not simple to use. Okay. So why I'm saying not easy and not simple? This is how it looks. Okay. This is how we have to write the code. Okay. For example, this Selenium WebDriver code. Okay. This is how we have to write. This doesn't look easy, right, compared to Selenium IDE, and I have to run here whatever the code I have written using Selenium WebDriver and any programming language like Java, right? The test will run. Okay. The scripts will run here. In a while, you will see the browser opening up. This is how the Selenium WebDriver looks. I cannot show you Selenium RC because it's already deprecated. This is an example of Selenium WebDriver. It's not a tool. It's a code or API library, something you can see. This is still the things are automated, right? And the test got passed. You can see that this is how we can work with Selenium WebDriver. And coming back, very simple, not simple, not simple. It's not a library at all. Easy and small API library in case of RC, it's a complex and large API library. Okay. So Selenium WebDriver contains a library. This library, you see this WebDriver is an interface in that Selenium WebDriver library. Chrome driver is a predefined class in that WebDriver API library. Like that, each and everything is some method, all those commands are coming from that WebDriver API complex library. Okay. Then what else is left out? Not at all, not an API at all. Non-object oriented API. RC used to be non-object oriented, but WebDriver, whatever we are using now, is an object oriented API. Here doesn't support listener, it supports WebDriver supports listeners. And here natively communicates with the browsers, it doesn't natively communicate with the browser. So hope guys, you got all the differences between Selenium IDE, RC and WebDriver in this session. So hope that you'll be now able to answer this question if you come across such kind of question in the interview. So that's all for this session. Thank you. Bye-bye.